Hey guys, so this is a topic that I've wanted to talk about for quite a long time. Is morality subjective or objective? And I've done a lot of research into this because I wanted to make sure I got other people's opinions, and wow, it's crazy the kind of things people say about it. And I'm a very philosophical person. I love looking at philosophy and all these different ways to perceive the same thing from depending on who you are and how you look at it. But, I'm a realist. I'm not religious either. I'm agnostic. I sit in the middle of a lot of things because that's the best way to look at things, because it's good to focus on just the facts as opposed to like personal opinions and subjective this and just, see what the reality is for basically everything. I made a video a while back right here called God Equals Good Morals. Basically, this video does relate to the whole subjective objective thing with morality because almost every single person that I saw online who was talking about this was relating it to religion. So we'll be referencing this video. In this video, I'm basically talking about how many religious people are not moral because, as we already know just by looking at reality, that the majority of religious people are judgmental, critical, rude. They believe that they're above other people just because they're religious. They, throw hell on anybody that they basically disagree with, and it's a very disgusting behavior with pretty much every religious person. And in this video, I made the case that the majority of religious people get their morals from religion because they don't have morals of themselves. They just look at whatever their religion preaches about morality and then they do that, or don't do it because they're hypocrites. But even if they did do it, they take the morality directly from religion, which is dumb because it just proves that you as a person don't have any morals yourself and you can only do things that other people are telling you to do, and that's just scary. It's almost sociopathic, in fact. And this relates to the morality, subjective and objective, very strongly as well. I'm going to go to this article here. I'm not going to be reading through the whole thing, but we'll be talking about it. The majority of things I've seen online are the people who believe that morality is objective are usually religious people, and the people who believe that morality is subjective are usually atheists. And like I said, I'm neither. I'm agnostic. And for those of you who have not seen my Christianity FTR, basically what I believe is that I believe that a higher power does exist. I just don't believe that the higher power is what the church preaches that it is. I believe that the higher power might be something like Mother Nature, for example. And that's more of a spiritual belief as opposed to a religious one. I believe that a higher power does exist, but it's not some man in the clouds, Religion in and of itself, if you do follow it, let's talk about Christianity, for example. The 10 Commandments are not actually bad. The problem is that people don't follow them, but, and also the fact that they're man-made because religion is made up. But man-made or not, the commandments are well-moraled. Things like don't kill, don't steal, don't cheat. Those are obviously good things to follow. But looking at it from a religious perspective is wrong. It's better to look at them in a more direct perspective, like, hey, you shouldn't kill. Good point, I won't kill people. People might say that I'm making it too black and white, but I'm really not. I think people are more over-philosophicaling it. I know that's not a word, but the point is, people are looking at it in a philosophical way, and it is philosophical, but you're going a little bit too far by going to this whole thing like, well, if God exists and if God doesn't exist, but the fact of the matter is, God doesn't exist. So let's just skip that entire portion and go straight into morals and what is good and what's bad. Well, who decides what's good and what's bad? You? Well, what kind of authority do you have? The law? Sure, there are many laws that will tell you what's good and bad, and there are things that if you break the law, it's considered that you've done a bad thing. Are you driving drunk? Well, yeah, that is objectively bad, even if you don't kill somebody, because you could kill somebody when you're driving drunk. So, that's breaking a law. However, there's actually many laws in the world that are incredibly stupid and don't cause harm to anybody, but they're laws because that particular country just makes up dumb things. For example, the whole thing on weed is kind of a dumb law, weed being illegal because weed has been proven to help with many, many, many medical conditions. But at the same time, when you're high and your judgment is gone, you could potentially hurt yourself or someone else. So You could say, well, there's a middle ground. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and sometimes it can be both depending on the perspective. But the most important thing to acknowledge here is that the biggest reason why morality is objective and not subjective is because it's not about, well, if you look at the article here, I highlighted the part that says the different personalities of the people involved, their emotions, intentions, intuitions, as well as the consequences of the act. And that's actually the point that I've been trying to make my whole life, which is that certain things are objectively bad. It's objectively bad to kill somebody. It's objectively bad to steal. It's objectively bad to cheat on a partner or whatever. And there are many other things that are objectively wrong. But here's the thing. People will often say things like, well, Matt, what if somebody is poor and has no food and is starving and might even die of starvation, and they go to a grocery store and steal some food? Are you going to say it's bad because stealing is wrong? But here's the point. I would agree with somebody who is starving and has no money stealing, because the act itself is objectively wrong. It's objectively wrong to steal. But the reason for the act could be objectively right as well. And therefore it's subjective. You can go, well, it's subjective because sometimes it's wrong to steal and sometimes it's not wrong to steal. That's not true. It's always wrong to steal, but the reason behind stealing could be right. And that's where people get confused. People are constantly conflating the act with the reason as the same thing. But no, the act can be wrong even if your reason is right. For example, if you kill someone in self-defense, you could say, well, in my subjective opinion, I was right to kill that person in self-defense because if I didn't, I would be dead. They would have killed me. You still committed a wrong act. You still committed an objectively wrong act, which is killing. Your reason for killing somebody could be subjective because you did it to defend yourself. But that doesn't change the fact that your act was objectively wrong. But at the same time, objectively right because you were doing it in self-defense. So this is the issue with this whole morality debate, is that it's not just about objective and subjective. You have to look at the reasons behind the act. And the reason behind the act does not change the act itself. Another very important factor when it comes to proving that morality really is objective, and before I continue, I should point out that, yes, it's usually religious people who think that morality is objective because they're getting their morals from God and they believe that God is the objective good authority of earth. But again, we have to remove God because God does not exist. But what we do have to look at, however, is being human. There's a reason why humans have emotions, because our emotions portray what is good or bad. If you kill somebody's friend, you will feel sad and angry towards the killer and sad about your friend who has died. If you were cheated on, the person who is cheated on will feel the emotion of sadness, and the cheater would hopefully, unless they're a sociopath, feel guilt. Here's a question for the people who talk about this in a philosophical way. If morality is subjective, then why do we feel objective emotions as a result of certain actions? If it's all subjective to steal, to kill, to cheat, to do whatever negative act, then why do we have a negative reaction when something negative happens? Why do we have a positive reaction when something positive happens? If somebody hands me a gift, why do I smile? Why do I feel happy? If morality was strictly subjective, then so would our emotions not be shared across humans. The only time emotions are different is if someone has a mental disorder, like if they're a psychopath or a sociopath. If I kill somebody and I don't feel any guilt for doing it, it's not that my morality is subjective because I think killing is good, because killing is never good unless it's a thing like self-defense, like I said. What makes it different, however, from somebody not feeling guilt from killing or cheating or not feeling whatever is because there is a mental disorder at play where sociopaths, for example, do not feel a negative emotion like guilt for killing somebody else. You can't say, Well, he killed somebody and he didn't feel anything, so morality is subjective because he thinks it's good. Morality is not subjective because a killer thinks it's good to kill. The reason they think it's good to kill is because of a mental disorder like sociopathy. So the act is still objectively wrong. Subjective for them, but again, it's a mental disorder at play. So if you look at regular, healthy-minded humans, no healthy-minded human is going to kill somebody and say, great. No healthy-minded person is going to do something horrible to another person and not feel guilt or sadness. Emotions exist to react to a situation that has occurred. And most humans who are healthy-minded will react the same way across the board. So that's why, in general, without looking at religion, morality is objective, even if you don't look at religion. And I would never look at religion because religion is corrupt. Religion is a bad thing. Because you can look at things like the commandments and say those are good things. Don't kill, don't cheat, don't steal. But religion as a whole is bad because religion creates things like war or division. So that's why I believe that morality really is objective. What do you think?